Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about distractions. Everyone's going to tell you to put your phone in another room and turn off your notification. And sure, fine, do that. But if that fixed the problem, you wouldn't be here watching this video. Today we're going deeper because distraction for ADHD brains is not primarily an external problem, it's an internal one. And until we deal with that, no amount of app blockers are going to save you. Hi, I'm Shannon Schroeder, the F-Bomb coach, and I help ADHD women build sustainable systems for their businesses and their lives. So let's get into it. We talk about distraction like it's a character flaw, like there's something wrong with you. Like if you just had more willpower, you'd stop looking at your phone every 4 minutes. But your brain's job, literally its evolutionary job, is to scan the environment for anything new or important. ADHD brains just have the sensitivity turned way up and the filter turned way down. You're not easily distracted because you're weak. You're easily distracted because your brain is exceptionally good at noticing things. That's the same trait that makes you creative, perceptive, and often brilliant in a crisis. The goal isn't to stop your brain from noticing, it's to give it what it needs so it stops going looking for new things. We often talk about ADHD, and because right there in the title it says attention deficit, it's not that you're not paying attention or that you can't pay attention. It's that you're paying attention to all of the things. And we need to change what you're paying attention to. Most productivity advice focuses entirely on external distractions. Hide your phone, use noise-canceling headphones, find a quiet space. Hey, I talk about that stuff too, and it helps, and we'll get to it. But for ADHD brains, internal distractions are often a bigger problem, and no app blocks your own thoughts. If you've ever sat in a perfectly quiet room with no phone in sight and still couldn't focus, that's internal distraction. That's your own brain creating its own noise. Understanding which type is derailing you in any given moment is the first step to actually doing something useful about it. So the external things, notifications, noise, movement, other people, things that are making you look away and look around and notice them. The internal distractions are your thoughts, your worries, your brain pulling your attention away from the task because there are bigger, shinier ideas. Often that's much harder to control, and we rarely talk about it. Internal distraction is sneaky because it doesn't look like distractions from the outside. You're sitting right there. You look like you're working, but inside, your brain has left the building 12 times in the last 5 minutes. A big one for ADHD brains is the I'll need to remember that spiral. Something pops into your head, you're terrified you'll forget it, so you can't stop thinking about it, which means you're not thinking about the thing you're supposed to be doing. Working memory issues make this worse. If you know that your brain tends to leak ideas, you try harder to hold on to it. Our brains know that if we're unreliable at holding on to information, everything keeps surfacing and staying at top because we treat it like it's urgent. It's like a browser with too many tabs open and not enough RAM for that computer to be running. The fix for this one is simple, and we'll cover it, but first let's talk about what's fueling all of it. Perfectionism is a massive driver here. If some part of your brain believes that doing the tasks means risking failure or judgment, distraction becomes a very comfortable exit ramp. Your brain would genuinely rather scroll Instagram than sit with the anxiety of, what if I do this wrong? That's not laziness. It might look like laziness because it seems like you're procrastinating, but really it's self-protection. Your brain is saying, well, if we don't do it, we can't be criticized. So before you try to force focus, it's worth asking, am I actually distracted or am I avoiding something? Because those need different solutions. Friction is sneaky because it doesn't feel like the reason you're not working. It just feels like distraction or resistance or I don't know why I can't start. But ADHD brains are especially vulnerable to friction because our task initiation is already expensive. Any additional barrier and the brain just nopes right on out the door. Think about it. If your workout clothes are in a drawer, you have to go find, put on, and think about that's friction. If they're already laid out, it's infinitely easier to start. The same principle applies to your work. Every decision you have to make before you can begin is friction. Every unclear next step is friction. Reducing it is a strategy to help you do what you need to do. So let's talk reducing the external distractions. You've heard all of these, but knowing why they work makes you more likely to actually do them. Your brain has habit loops attached to your phone. Just seeing it triggers the urge to check it. Out of sight genuinely means out of mind, or at least less in your mind. Notifications are specifically designed to hijack ADHD brains. Every ping is a small dopamine hit. Turn them off not because you lack willpower, but because you're removing a trap that was engineered by very smart people to be as compelling as possible. The workspace one is underrated. Your brain learns to associate environments with behaviors. A dedicated focus space, even if it's just a specific chair with specific music, becomes a focus cue over time. Reducing noise reduces your sensory processing load. If you've got fewer options, you're going to be more likely to pay attention to what's in front of you. So now let's talk about reducing that internal distraction piece. This is the single most underrated focus tool for ADHD brains, and it takes 5 minutes. Your brain is not distracted because it's broken. It's distracted because it's trying to hold on to too many things at once, and it doesn't trust itself not to drop them. Because you do drop them. The brain can only hold so much. The brain dump is permission. You're telling your brain, I've got this. It's captured. You can let go now. You don't have to do anything with the list right away. The act of writing it down is what frees up the mental space. All you're doing is you're grabbing a piece of paper and you're dumping everything out. All of the worries, all of the thoughts, all of the random ideas, all of the things that you need to do. Just get it all on paper, because then your brain's like, ooh, it's safe. It's there in black and white. I can return to it whenever I need to. I don't have to hold it. And once you do that, your brain is free to focus on what it needs to focus on. Reducing the avoidance-based distraction. You cannot productivity hack your way out of avoidance. Lots of people have tried. If the real issue is fear of failure, no timer is going to fix that. You have to go deeper. Naming it helps more than you'd think. I'm not distracted. I'm scared this won't be good enough. Saying that out loud is useful information. That tells you what actually needs to happen. And then shrink the task, always. Write my sales page is terrifying. Write one sentence that describes what I do is survivable. Start there. Done imperfectly and started is infinitely more useful than perfect and paralyzed. And we talk a lot about, done is better than perfect, because perfect doesn't exist. And that takes a lot of practice. I don't want to make it sound like this is super easy to do, but you can do it. And part of how you do it is to make it as small as possible, because then it feels doable. The best time to reduce friction is before you're trying to focus, not in the moment when your executive function is already being asked to do the heavy lifting. If you have to figure out what you're doing, find the file, open the tools, make 17 micro decisions before you can start. Your brain has already used up a huge chunk of its focus before you've done a single thing. Doing things the night before it feels like a trick, but it's real. It works. You just write one sentence. Tomorrow I'm starting with X, whatever that is. Your brain knows what to do when you sit down, and the resistance is cut in half. This environment design as a focus strategy helps you make the right thing the easy thing. You are putting things where you can see them, visual reminders, a little sticky note, or a calendar on the wall. Remove the decisions before you need to start so that you can basically hit the ground running, and it makes it a lot easier. the quick distraction response plan. You will get distracted mid-sprint. It's guaranteed. The goal is not to never drift, because it's going to happen. You're just lying to yourself if you're saying, I'm going to be locked on and I'm not going to. Your brain's going to go anyway. The goal here is to have a fast, low drama way back to where you need to be. So first, notice without judgment. The judgment piece is huge. Every second you spend feeling bad about getting distracted is a second you're still not working. Notice it, capture it, return. That's the whole move. So don't spiral. It's just information. Something happened that caused me to drift away. Okay? If it was a thought, an idea, something that you need to tackle later, add it to your brain dump list. Or maybe you have a separate little note, and I call it the parking lot. It's a really good idea. Put it in the parking lot. We can't deal with it now, but it's here. Return to the task. The exact thing you're doing, not all of my to-do list, not the whole sales page. I'm writing this headline. And then reset the timer if needed. Resetting the timer isn't cheating. It's not like, oh man, I had a 15-minute sprint and 10 minutes in, I screwed up. It's not fair. So reset it. Nobody's paying attention to your timer. That timer's just for you. A clean 15-minute sprint starting now is better than 8 minutes that you've already kind of half abandoned. Over time, this response gets faster. The gap between I drifted off task and I'm back starts to shrink because you're giving yourself a system of what to do when it happens. And so you're building up that skill to be able to do that. Now you have some actual tools, not just try harder or, hide your phone. Pick one thing from today's video, just one, not all of them, and try it before the next video drops, because the information without action is just really well organized procrastination. And we know enough about procrastination at this point that we're trying not to do that. Thank you so much for being here. If this video resonated with you, hit like, subscribe so that more people can find it. Thank you.